Hey guys, what's up? So today's video is going to be a story time. I was looking back on my channel and I was looking at like the videos that get the most views and things that you guys like to see that you would maybe want to see some more of, and I noticed that my top story time video was this one. So I think since that video did so well, I'm going to do not necessarily like a spin-off, but kind of, I guess. It's gonna be another story time not related to the same person, but related to that subject. So this is going to be the story time I gave someone a blowjob in a school bathroom. The way this all starts, I was in science class with said person, biology specifically with said person, and this was my junior year in high school. We kind of were talking a little bit because this person and I had a mutual friend, and she kind of tried to get us connected in one way or another, but he wasn't necessarily out and neither was I. So at this time it was very kind of like secretive, like, oh, he said this, or you know, like it was back and forth playing telephone through our friend. So it was kind of hard to communicate, and then at one point we ended up adding each other on Skype before we got each other's phone numbers. That goes to show you how long this was. We started talking on Skype for a little while. It was obviously a lot more graphic than this, but we were like, so we're clearly interested in each other and we want to do things with each other, so when and how. Basically, we're trying to figure out a way to do it without having to do it in a public setting, obviously, because that's not something that you want to do this in. This is like an awkward situation where you don't want to be in public. Even in a bathroom, it's kind of not private. It's a weird situation, so let's not even go into that. Let's not talk about the ethics of that one. We were talking back and forth, and he had a job that he worked really a lot. I think he worked at the country club or something like that, and I was working at a local grocery store at the time in high school, so like we both, while we were at school, obviously we would not think that time, you know, obviously we're at school, and we both work not necessarily like a lot, but we worked a fair amount to where it would make it difficult in order for us to meet up. And so he was just like, well, I was thinking about it, and do you know the bathroom over in the performing arts wing by the auditorium? And let me just give you a little bit of a lowdown in my school. The performing arts wing was actually a new sect built of the school like years after it was built, like way later on. So like the performing arts wing bathrooms are a lot nicer than the regular bathroom than the other part of the school. The other part of the school, the bathrooms, like the bricks falling apart, the toilets are literally duct taped shut with trash bags over it saying out of order. Some parts of the school didn't have a ceiling in my senior year because they started reconstructing parts of the school, and yeah. So my school is just very not pleasant to the eye. We're just gonna put it that way. And so the performing arts wing's bathroom were not only the nicest bathrooms in the school, but they were the cleanest and the least used because they were clear on the other side of the school. Performing arts wing was probably about like a good 5-minute walk away from the rest of the campus, so it was just kind of like a lot of people didn't go there unless you had a class over there, and there were only 2 classes, well, other than like the performing arts obviously, but there were only 2 classes over there. It was a classroom that did AP Gov and politics and debate, and then the other one was like a language arts classroom. So not a lot of people went over in this area, so he was thinking it was really perfect, like we can go in this bathroom, we can be fine, like nobody's gonna be there, it'll be cool, Gucci, whatever, they're clean, they're nice, like they're not the other bathrooms in the school that have duct tapes over the toilet, so like it's good, it's Gucci, let's go. And so I was just like, okay, like, cause me being awkward and like in high school, I wasn't like very confrontational with anything. Whenever somebody suggested something, like I always just went along with it. Like I'm that stupid kid that you would tell, say no to drugs, because I would say yes to drugs, although that's a different story. So later on in that day during biology, he texted me and he's like, so do you want to do this? And I responded and I was like, well, I don't think there's any way we can both leave class at the same time and have it not be suspicious. Oh, we're both going to the bathroom. Oh, we're both gone for 15-20 minutes. Oh, we're both coming back at the same time. That'd be weird. I ended up telling him, well, we have to wait until lunch, okay? Just wait until lunch, which was a bad idea on my part. We waited until lunch, and then he texted me and he's like, okay, I'm over in the performing arts wing. Where are you? Blah, blah, blah. I ended up having to deal with something with one of my friends, so I ended up being a few minutes late, and I was like, okay, I'm headed over there. I go over there, and I go into the bathroom. He's the only person standing in the bathroom because, like I said, not a lot of people go into this part of the school. And so as soon as I walk in, he like doesn't waste any time. He walks straight up to me, starts making out with me, starts trying to like pull my clothes off like in the like public like open part of the bathroom, and I'm like, what? I figured we would at least like go into the stall in case someone came in. This is a public restroom, like what are you doing? And he was just like, oh no, it's fine, nobody comes over here. He was in choir, he was in show choir, so he thought that like he knew everything, and like he was this big like, yeah, like I know everything about this part of the school, everything's all good, we're fine, whatever, like let's just go for it. And I'm like, okay. And so we get into it, we start fooling around, you know, whatever, making out, and then he goes down on his knees, and you can kind of picture what happens from there. And I was like, we were still in like the open part of the bathroom, we had not gone into the stall, and I'm like very awkward and like uncomfortable at this point because like I am in said position with said thing going on, and like I'm just I was very uncomfortable, especially considering where it was happening. It was like right next to the mirror in the sinks, so like I could see the reflection of his head and like the sinks and the stall that was wide open right next to us that we could very well have been inside of to avoid what happened next. So we are doing our thing, we're into it, whatever, and then the middle bell rings for the first lunch, which when the middle bell rings for the first lunch, that means the kids who aren't in lunch right now are changing their classes. And that's why I said it was a bad idea on my part to go do this during lunch, because someone walked in. And well, thankfully it was only one person. Only one person came in, but they turned around incredibly quickly and skadoodled out of that bathroom like there was no tomorrow. And at this point, when the door opened and I froze, I shocked, and I'm like, and he just kept going. He was just into it, didn't stop, and I was like, and then the door shut, and then he looks up at me and he's like, well, that was awkward. And I'm like, yeah, so what do we do now? And he's like, oh, you want to stop? And I'm like, you want to keep going after that? And so obviously me being like reluctant to keep going and keep playing after we just got walked in on, he was like butthurt and not butthurt. He was like annoyed and just frustrated with the fact that I didn't want to keep having sex in a open part of the bathroom after we had just gotten walked in on. I actually remember later on that week, there was an implemented rule that like during lunches, the performing arts wing bathroom were locked, and now I know that's like a mandated thing at the school now, that like the performing arts wing bathrooms are locked during lunches, because I don't know if it did end up getting around, but obviously there's a reason those bathrooms are locked now. So yeah, that was the story time of when I got a blowjob in the school bathroom. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below. Also leave a like if you do like Storytime videos. Please make sure to subscribe for more from me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!